Well, I thought, when the game was on the line, I thought our guys stepped up and really made some big plays down the stretch, which was a positive. We've had two really tight games or three down the stretch, and in two of the three of those games, we've made plays on defense that gave us a chance to be successful. Now on the flip side, things that we've talked about collectively, we were really efficient on third down. That was good for us. But on the flip side, we gave up two explosive third downs, and so overall there were five explosives in the game, and that was what really, when you go back and you watch that game, those are the things in that game, in the TCU game, really in particular, but really the last three games that have stood out. Just eye discipline, responsibilities, some of those things that we got to get better at. And it's not one position group. We got to get better corner and safety wise, just playing a clean game consistently, and we got to do a better job fitting the run up. We let one pop. That was an explosive there. In the second half, that got one of those touchdown drives going. So, I thought we did a good job on third down, but we gave up the explosive plays, which allowed them to be in the game. I think that was a really good offense, probably the best offense we've seen collectively. And so, to be able to minimize them was big. But our guys also, aren't satisfied and feel like we've got, a whole nother level that we could perform at. And so, excited for the challenge of this upcoming week. Stanford's a really good football team, extremely well coached, have a really dynamic quarterback, have one of the, if not the best receiver in this league. So, we'll have to play better moving forward. On this next three-game stretch, and it starts, going on the road with, two more back-to-back road games. So.
Yeah, no, it's maybe not what you want from the defense, but the fact that you're up against like a NFL caliber wide receiver, and it takes that one big play for him to really make his mark on the game. Is that a good sign for where you feel like you're secondary now?
Well, I think it's just consistency. I think it's technique and fundamentals, and I think it's just when you're playing really good teams that have dynamic playmakers, you can't let a play off. You can't have a play with bad eye discipline, or a play where you misfit a run, and allow those explosives for them to stay in the game. And that's an offense that's built on explosive plays. That's an offense that the ironic thing was, for as many shots as we got in the game, and there were a lot, and we knew going in there were going to be a lot. We really didn't give up an explosive shot on a design shot play. It was just, two third downs that were big plays. We did give up one early in the game on the sail route that we should have played better. That was a shot play, so to speak. But it was more third down execution and then one misfit on a run. So. I think when you watch the game collectively, I went back last night and I watched it without the explosive plays. And if you watch it without those five plays, you realize that we played pretty good. We just got to be consistent throughout the game, and that's part of us growing, and that's where right now we're at, and we've got to strain to get better, and just one play focus over and over again. And we've shown we did it in the BYU game. We got a bunch of shots early in that game, and really limited explosives against a good offense that week. So it's not like we haven't done it, but that's the challenge from a consistency standpoint moving forward. And I think we've got the guys to do it and to execute at the level that we're challenging them to. So we just got to just step up and continue to press to get better as a unit.
Before the Louisville game, the strength of this defense seemed to be forcing turnovers, but this past week, the defense found other ways to cut drive short, sort of don't break. What did you see from your defense with that mentality?
Well, I think it shows a lot about, I think people can, obviously, the hype for the turnovers, rightly so. I mean, it's been awesome to see what our guys have done in buying into that. But, you can't live and die on that. There's going to be games where quarterbacks do a great job of taking care of the ball, et cetera. We just want to capitalize on the opportunities that present themselves and try to go make our opportunities when we can. I thought the third and one, fourth and one sequence of plays was huge there in the game. I thought that was, I thought that really, at that point in the game, all the momentum was going their way. We had an 11-point lead coming out of half. We squandered it in the third quarter. They're going in to take the lead. They haven't had to lead the whole game at home with, 8 minutes left around, and you get a 3rd and 1, and you bow up and stop them. And then that was kind of felt like, hey, we're the ACC runner up. We're going to run it again on you kind of moment. And our guys bowed up and showed them who was boss at that point in the game. And so I felt like that 2-play sequencing was huge for us. Consequently, I think we were in a good call on the last 4th and 1. There was a debate between Coach Crum and I. Is he going to run it? Is he going to throw it? We both really felt like he was going to throw it. But then at the end of the day, I was like, man, we could end the game right here. Let's load the box. And if he throws it, let's cover him. And we covered everybody but one. And that, obviously they got a big play in the drive, kept going. And then, luckily the timely sack by Corey down there was a huge play in the game, because that changed the whole dynamic when it's, 2nd and whatever it was, 18-19 now in the high red. It's a whole lot easier to call the next 3 plays. So, I thought we bowled up, and what was frustrating was there were multiple drives that we got them to, in a good call, in a good chance to stop them. We had a 4th and goal down there. Now, the 4th and goal call, I wish we had that one back. I wish we'd gotten in our goal line package. I screwed up the personnel, so we weren't even in the right package. Kind of what happened was we got into goal line. They weren't in goal line offense. Oh, crap. Coach took a timeout. Then they sent out goal line, and then 2 receivers ran back off the field. So it was kind of a mismanagement on my part for sure. So, I think there was but it was good to see us get them to that 4th and goal. Now we just got to capitalize, and that's another, you stop them right there, and now instead of an 11-point lead, you're looking at an 18-point lead at halftime. I think you can call the game offensively and defensively different at that point. So there were a lot of positives. I mean, it's not easy to go on the road and win against a top 25 team in a tough environment. And, this group of guys is really resilient. They don't, we're not afraid of anybody in the country. There's nobody that we feel like we can't play with. And I firmly believe that. But do we have to get better at some things? Absolutely. But I do think it starts with, the day one fundamentals of, eye discipline, our drops and coverage being consistent, and then tackling in space. Like, those things haven't changed, and we got to get better in those areas collectively moving forward. And that's kind of what the focus was this week. Monday we actually spent pretty much our whole practice, our whole walkthrough Monday, doing one big self-scout walkthrough of plays that have been successful against us, because offenses are copycats, and trying to make sure, okay, yes, we covered this correction 6 weeks ago against Nevada, but let's show it to you again, because just to try to teach our guys. And I think our staff trying to grow our guys in the knowledge of not only our defense but how the offenses try to attack us.
Coach Lashley spoke post-game a little bit about the depth of the defensive line and how much of an asset that was, especially down the stretch. What have you seen from that group, just top to bottom?
Yeah, I think we're really talented. I think they are. I think at the beginning of the season, they hadn't really gelled yet with a lot of new faces, and when I say gelled, it's not that they weren't playing, playing hard or playing tough or physical or fundamentally. It's none of that. More just the chemistry piece, and I think that was kind of collectively all of us as a defense. But that was the biggest position, that there were a lot of new guys, right? And so I think what you've seen over the course of 6 weeks is, now it's not a collection of new faces, but it's a group of guys that really believe in each other. And I think that takes time, and that takes going through adversity. I think that Nevada game was huge for us, to go on the road to a team we were heavily favored in, and to almost lose but find a way to win. And then I think when you go through adversity like a loss, like the BYU loss, and then you've got a bye week, which is not fun to come off of a loss and have a bye week, and to go through that. I think that tested those guys. And so I think now you see us kind of coming out on the other side, where our guys are pretty close-knit and, really believe in each other, which is huge. You're not going to be successful unless you really, believe and are confident in each other.
When you're having kind of your bi-week conversations about state of the program, where you guys see it in the future, are those conversations conversations different when you're coming off a loss like after BYU versus when you're coming off of 3-0 stretch like you are right now?
No, I mean I think. Well, I mean I think we're obviously playing at a really high level offensively. Now over the last 3 weeks compared to where we're at. From my perspective, but I think. No, I think you can't ever be too high or too low in this. You've got to be able to. So to speak, act medium. If you've been there, then you need to act like you've been there, and one loss doesn't define a team either. So, I think you got to make the corrections and the adjustments necessary to make sure it doesn't happen moving forward. But football season is a long season, and like we said, this is only giving us an opportunity for the next game to matter. And nothing but Stanford matters at this point in the year for us, and so that's the focus. But no, I think you're always assessing where you're at, but I don't think that one game defines a football team or a defense or an offense.
Louisville played Notre Dame before you guys took on Louisville, and of course Stanford has Notre Dame this week before you guys play them. Does that sort of have any impact on how you prepare? You see how both of those offenses prepare for one defense, and then you kind of can see how they'll prepare for you.
Yeah, I think Stanford does a great job. They're a very game plan oriented offense. You'll see, one play 5 times in the same game, and it works. The majority of the time that they run it. So I think their coaching staff does a great job of, picking apart your weaknesses and building a game plan around their players. So yeah, I think it'll, obviously this will be a good game for us to watch, and just get another view of another quality opponent that they're playing, and so we'll keep preparing as such. Yep.
Jahari Rogers announced that he'd be redshirting. I think it was last week.
Mhm.
What's your diagnosis of the cornerback room at this point? Does it change anything with what you guys did?
No, it doesn't change anything. I mean, Jahari's a great kid. We want nothing but the best for him. He's been with us since we got here. I've seen him grow tremendously under Coach Hundley. I think he's a completely different young man today from a maturity and growth standpoint than when he was, 2.5 years ago. Obviously, we're sad that he didn't decide to finish it out with us. But we want nothing but the best for him moving forward. And the fact of the matter is those 4 guys that are playing the majority of the snaps are guys that we really believe in right now. And so we feel. I thought Deuce really stepped up and played a really clean game, and so I'm excited to see what he's going to do with the opportunity moving forward. I think Crossley has played, at a consistently good level. I think, we just collectively, those 3 guys taking the majority of the snaps, and then A.J. Davis, we're going to challenge them to keep growing. And, there's not what you have to look at in that room is there's not a lot of guys that have started for us in that room. So now there's 6 games in. And so I think that growth, we hope we'll continue to see exponential growth in that room because, it's one thing to be a talented guy like Jalen is, but if you haven't started a lot of college football games, that's a whole different level of expectation than coming in and being the first guy off the bench. And so, I think we, we'll continue to grow in that room and get better and better each week. And I've got a lot of confidence in those guys, and I think that it's really easy, on the outside looking in to say, this or that. But you got to remember that, if a guy is starting his 6th college game and he's going on the road against a top 25 team, that's a lot of pressure. And so, I think we'll continue to get better, and I'm excited to see, where we'll be at and, us play at a high level, in the cornerback room against Stanford.
What have you seen from Deuce since he arrived and kind of how he's grown as his role has grown?
Yeah, I thought from the spring to now has been night and day. I think, I just think him being challenged to grow up, mature in some of those areas, take accountability, and he's really responded and done that. And that's what's the most pleasing thing to look at. Where he was at in the spring to then where he was at in the fall was night and day. And then, where he's at from the fall to how he's played in games has been something that, gives us a lot of confidence. So, and I think because of that, probably you'll see his confidence grow. Because as a player, there's, you understand that what you put on film is nothing but, you're playing well at a high level. That's going to continue to grow his confidence exponentially. So, excited for him. We're going to need him to step up big down the stretch and play at a high level for us.